Hello everyone, Kevin Stevenson here with GetMeTheGeek.com, and today we're going to learn about MinIO and how to install it on an Ubuntu 2004 LTS with Let's Encrypt certificates. Here we have MinIO. So you might be wondering, well, what is MinIO? Well, that's a good question. What it is a S3 compatible API program. So if you've heard of Amazon S3, then you are familiar with this sort of product. Basically, MinIO is a simple, easy, it's written in Go. You can install it on your own servers and have your own S3 buckets to store your data. It's compatible with S3 APIs, so if you're using a piece of software for your backup solutions that is capable of talking to S3, then you can use MinIO. Or anything else that you're using that has S3 capabilities pretty much opens up the door for MinIO. So why would you use MinIO over, say, S3? Well, the simple answer is maybe it's cost. Maybe you need to store your data locally at your office and you can't put it up in the cloud for some reason. Maybe you have some sort of restrictions and you want to make your own private cloud. Maybe you want to provide this service to your clients or something to that effect. So that is a reason to use it. There are lots of reasons to use it, and what I'm going to show you how to do this is to spin up your own Ubuntu 2004 LTS server and install MinIO with proper certs so that you can use this to store data. And I'm going to use DigitalOcean to store the virtual machine. You can use wherever you want to do it on whatever machine you want for storage. Now, in my particular case, I'm just going to have a DigitalOcean virtual machine, and I'm going to store the data directly on that machine. MinIO is scalable, clusterable, and all kinds of good stuff like that. So this is just an entry level to get you up and going. You can play with it and use whatever storage you want for your back end underneath that virtual machine, or take it from there. But this is just to get you going with something that's more or less ready to go, and that's all there is to it. So without further ado, let's get started on that. Now, here is MinIO's website. Feel free to peruse through it, and like you said, you can see all this good stuff on how it works. It really is a pretty awesome product. And like I said, I'm using DigitalOcean, and if you've never heard of them, they're a great provider. I use them for a lot of things, and they have some great pricing. And also, just so you know, here is my link and a referral link for DigitalOcean. So if you're going to spin up a VM in DigitalOcean, I recommend it. Use my link. It helps me out a little bit. Doesn't cost you anything. You need to know to get this up and running on Ubuntu 2004. So first thing we're going to do is go to get a hold of Go. And you can go to the Go website and check out Go language if you're not familiar with it. It's something that I believe Google came up with. It's pretty nifty. And so first things first. This isn't in my documentation, but you want to do an update before you do stuff. So we're just going to do an update. I'm logged in as root here. All the commands that you see in this markdown document are assuming that you are not logged in as root, and so they have the sudo in front of them. In my particular case, I'm not going to need the sudo because I'm logged in as root. I don't recommend normally logging in as root, but DigitalOcean, when you spin up a VM, it just gives you root login. So we're not going to go through changing the users for that sort of thing to not be logged as root. That's a different subject altogether. So just wanted you to be aware of that issue. So I went ahead and did the update there. Now we're going to go ahead and get Go. And so here we are. We just use the wget to download that file, and you'll see now I have it. And then we're going to unzip that. And zip right on through that guy. And now you'll see we have a Go directory. Now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to pretend like I'm not root in all these things and do it just like I would if you were installed on as a different user. So normally when you install Ubuntu from the command line or on your own machines, making a virtual machine, you create a user and it's not the root user, and you have to sudo everything. Okay, so let's just change in the owner. Now we're going to move that to /user/local. And then the next thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and add Go into the path so that it is something you use. So right now, if you type in, so right now if you type in Go version, it's gonna not find it. Now you can, if you notice right here, you can install Go from the apt. I'm getting the latest and greatest version directly from Google on this, and so either one of these will work. But we're going to go ahead and add this to the profile, and then I want to go ahead and source that file. So now if I type in Go, all of a sudden Go's working. So let's go ahead and clean up after ourselves, because having this tar file in there, and number one, you're using up extra space, and it's just a good habit to go ahead and clean that out. So let's just remove that. Boom, and it's gone. So we've got our first part of this done, installation of Go. Now the next part is going ahead and going with MinIO. So we're going to make sure that we're in our users directory. We already are, and I'll just go ahead and mark that up there. And you print working directory just to see what directory. Since I'm logged in root, yours will say whatever user you're logged into. Let's go ahead and get MinIO. So let me just show you that. Go to the downloads here, and by the way, in case you didn't know, MinIO works on Linux, Windows, Mac. So you can install this anywhere you want. So we're going to go to the Linux side, and you can do this on a Docker install, or you can go ahead and get it with a native install. We're going to do the native install. Docker is awesome, and I've been doing some tutorials on Docker. So if you want to learn about Docker, go check out some of my other videos on Docker. They're pretty awesome. Well, Docker's pretty awesome. So here we go. We're going to basically do this little section here, and I've got that right here. So let's go ahead and get MinIO. And there you go. You'll see that we have MinIO right there. And we need to add a user for MinIO. Because you don't really want it to be using your root user and stuff like that. So let's just go ahead and break this down. So we're going to add a user to the system, and they're going to be a no-shell login. So this user won't actually be able to log in. So let's go ahead and pop these things here. And there is our user. Now, what we need to do is move the download over to our bin directory so we can run MinIO. So let's move that to user local bin. And then we need to make this executable. So if I just, real quick, if I ls that, you're going to see that that is not executable. So we go ahead and do this, and now I'll run that command again, and you'll see now it's all green, so it's executable. And we need to change the owner to MinIO. And there we go. So now, if I do the ls command again, you'll notice the user and group are now MinIO. Now we need to set up our default file. So, like I said, I'm just going to follow this straight up off my touch. Just makes a file, and you can actually use Nano or Vi or whatever to create this file and add these items to it. So the first thing I want you to do is we need to add this to it. And all this is the access key for the MinIO. Basically, it's the user. So we're going to make that. And then we've got a couple other things. Set up the volume. And here we go. And this will give us the port. And now the key. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to edit this file so you can look at it after what I just did. So this is what we have in here. A couple things. I'm going to recommend that you go ahead and change this from my document to something super secure, awesome, and paste it in there. So that's a bunch of gobbledygook password. Will help you keep this secure. The bigger, the longer is great. So now I'm going to Control X and save this guy. And now, if you notice that we created that local share MinIO directory or as the volume in there, so now we actually need to create that folder, excuse me. So we're going to create that folder, and now we need to create another folder, which are both folders from that config file. And now we need to set the ownership of both of those to MinIO. Okay. So there you have the first part of that now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set up the service so that MinIO is running as a service. In order to do that, we're going to go to this service created by another GitHub user, and let me just go ahead and copy that in here, and then we're going to take a look at that. Here's that file. So it's defining a bunch of the stuff in here that you're going to notice. Now, one of the things that you're going to find in here is the user and the group. Now, we actually created ours as just MinIO instead of MinIO-user. So that's actually needs to be changed. Now, you don't have to log into this in order to do this. So if you look at my documentation, it will actually go into this file, and if you copy and paste the next two lines, it will change these for you. But I'm going to just do it from here. And that's what those lines are going to do, change it. Okay. Now, we need to move that to the systemd system directory. So let's do that. Boom. And now we need to reload to enable MinIO. And now we need to start it. Starts it. And now let's just check to see if that worked. So we're going to check the status. And here you go. You see that active running. Boom. We are good. So now your question will be like, well, okay, so now what? Well, let's just take a second here. Boom. So here we are at our website. Now I've already mapped the domain for this, and if you notice, if you go back a few steps back where we went into the MinIO default, you'll have this and this. So let me just go ahead and copy that. And here we are in there. And you can go ahead at this point in time and explore around and click on this plus sign. Go ahead and create a bucket called stuff. And there's your bucket. And you can even upload files. So I'm just gonna upload a file real quick. Let's just go, boom. And there you have it. That file is uploaded to the server. There it is on a preview. Now you can go in here and you can delete it. You can share it out. And so you can do these links. It's pretty awesome. But we need to lock this down a little bit. You know, you don't want to be putting your files out there in a non-HTTPS location. So let's go ahead and work on that part. And that's what this part is. First off, let's just go ahead and work on that firewall. So let's go ahead and just put all these things in. We're gonna not really gonna go over these because it's not really a firewall tutorial, but we're gonna go through these, and I'll just briefly kind of talk to you just a little bit about what they are. The 9000 port is the port that MinIO uses. And let's just do this, allow HTTP. And let's just go ahead and look at that status. Okay, so now I've got those in there. Let's look at them real quick. What I've done is I've allowed port 22 with my SSH, 9000, which is our MinIO ports, 80 and 443, which are our HTTP, HTTPS ports, and this is done on IPv4 and IPv6. So what we need to do now is go ahead and set up the certificate portion. And this version of Ubuntu is super new, so getting all the stuff installed for CertBot is pretty easy. And I just did a little bit of repository stuff, so it's all the things which already in there. I'm updating the universe part so that it is in there. And then we're going to do an update real quick again. That's just a refresh, since I added a repo to refresh everything. Now we're going to go ahead and add in CertBot, which is the Let's Encrypt bot. Go ahead and hit yes on that to go ahead and install that. And then we're going to go and set up the certificate for the domain. Okay, so our next little step here is to set up a cert. Now I'm going to put in my domain here, and if you look at what we did here, here is our domain. So let's just add that, and then just hit enter. Boom. Now you're going to want to put in an email or decide whether you want these things to happen. So okay, terms and services. Do you want to share this information with EFF? And then it's going to do its challenge. Boom. And congratulations, your cert was created. So what we need to do now is copy that cert to a new location. Certs, everything looks good. Now we want to copy the full chain. So I'm going to do a CP Okay, so there we go. And that is essentially this line right here. Now we need to get the ownership of that key insert set up. Boom. And now we're going to go ahead and do this part for the cert. And now let's go ahead and restart MinIO, and let's go and check the status of MinIO. So that's pretty easy to do right here. And everything looks like it's up and running. So let's go back to our website and let's just reload it. And all of a sudden it says, hey, wait a minute, HTTP request to HTTPS server error. So how do I fix that? HTTPS. Aha, there we go. Now looky here, we've got our lock, connection secure, we've got all that going. Now we can go and put our key back in, and here you are logged back in securely. And everything is here. So that's all there is to it. We've got a encrypted S3 bucket available for use. Now, granted, in this particular item, if we go in here and we do a df-h, you will see that there is only what is it? A little bit of gigage free on this machine. And that's just because I didn't create anything very large. What you might want to do is hook this up to a ZFS store, or if you're running it locally, you can set that up like that and hook it up to an NFS or an iSCSI or something like that. Share to give yourself storage space. That's all there is to it. Now, MinIO is a pretty awesome product. I recommend it. So if you're an IT provider and you're looking at providing backup storage, one of the things that's kind of sucks about using S3 and then going into Glacier or some of these storage is the cost and also the time of recovery. So imagine that you need to back these files up, and you want that safe and secure, and you want to put it in maybe an S3 bucket somewhere, but to get that down from the internet can be a big pain. So maybe you also want to store that locally on your network. So maybe you can have a MinIO S3 bucket that is easily accessible, that is your LAN speed to retrieve files and things from that. So that's one of the reasons why you might want to use this. I think it's an awesome product, and I plan on using it in my IT infrastructure. I have been exploring MinIO for a little while, and it does some clustering and things like that. So I hope that you found value in this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. and subscribe to my channel below. We do a tech video every week, so I'll see you next week with another tech video. Thanks for joining me.